In this video, we're going to catch up with the moves for Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last week and the big levels to watch in the days ahead. Hello, I'm David Jones. This is the weekly video I do with Capital.com where we take a look at the two cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Of course, just under a couple of weeks ago, we had that hacking over the weekend of a Bitcoin exchange. We saw the price fall pretty heavily. We've also had another exchange hacked this week, CoinThumb, but we haven't seen the same sort of negative reaction for Bitcoin. We've seen the price stabilize. So for Bitcoin, I think maybe Ethereum's the more interesting market in the short term, but let's take a look at Bitcoin first of all, just to have a look at really how we have seen, I think, some stability come back into this market after the volatility about 10 days ago. So here's the last 12 months. Just to really put things in perspective, let's just zoom in to what's happened over the last few weeks or so. We had that crash over the weekend where we saw the exchange got hacked in South Korea. Another hack this week, but no real volatility for the price. So volatility has died off again following that quick burst of excitement. But what I think is interesting, let's take it back to the bigger picture. The levels we've been talking about for the last few weeks now, from 5,900 through to sort of 6,500, continues to support the price. So even though we haven't really had much in the way of good news over the last couple of weeks, the price is still holding up. And I think this daily view is still the important one for the cryptocurrencies. I think it's too easy to get sucked into the really short-term movements, but the bigger picture is maybe what we want to be focusing on. So far, at least, we are seeing these lows from February of this year, 5,900, holding the price up. So I flipped this over to the shorter term view, and you can see that really over the last week or so now, it is trying to build some sort of a recovery. You've rallied from about 6,100 up around about 10%, and that recovery is still sort of chugging away with shorter term support running from about 6.4 through to the 6,500 level. But as I say, it's the big picture view that's the one that matters. And so far, at least, those lows for the year continue to hold. So yet again for Bitcoin, it's all about those lows for the year, sort of running from 5,900, the February lows. But let's take a look at Ethereum, because as Bitcoin stabilized and recovered slightly, we're seeing the same thing happening with Ethereum, of course, but it has brought it up to a really big level. So let's take a look at that chart. So not surprising, as the price of Bitcoin has stabilized and staged some sort of a recovery, we're seeing similar moves in Ethereum. What's interesting, though, is whether or not in the next couple of days we're going to see it manage to crack this downtrend that's been in place for about 6 weeks now. It looks like about 550 is the level to watch. Let's just change it over to an hourly chart. Here we go. So you can see how clear that move lower has been from 830 down as low as 450. We're staging a bit of recovery. So I think it's an interesting one to watch the next couple of days. If you can sort of crack the 550 barrier, then maybe we can start to look for a run back up above 600. So even though day-to-day volatility is a little bit quiet, I think it's still an interesting one to keep an eye on. Of course, the flip side is if you thought that trend down was going to continue and we're going to slide to 450, where it's trading now, for many people based off the trend line, would be a pretty good place to go short. So it's going to be, I think, a bit of a battle between the bears and the bulls over the next couple of days, but 550, big level to watch for Ethereum. So if we were viewing it as just any normal market, it really is sort of break or bust time again for Ethereum this week. If we're going to see that downtrend threaten, 550 is the big level to watch. If the downtrend is going to stay in place, then the price should really start running out of steam pretty soon. So I think this may be the more interesting one to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. We'll start wrapping things up there, but as usual, any questions or if you've got a different view, leave us a message in the comments down below. If you like the video, click on the thumbs up, and to never miss out on the content we produce during the week, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click on the notification icon, which will notify you every time a new video goes up. But for this week, from me, David Jones, and Capital.com, looking at the cryptocurrencies, we'll leave things there, and I hope you have a good trading week.